All right. Good evening or good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're logging in from. My name is Danette Edwards. I am the founder of Daze Professional Development Group, and I am very excited to be here with you today and to be hosting a friend and former colleague. And of course, Alvin, I just lost your bio. Oh, I just had it up. Okay, guys, I'm excited to be hosting Alvin. Give me a moment so I can pull his bio back up. You guys know I always have a little bit of technical difficulty, but I just had it up in front of me a moment ago. Anyway, I am here with Alvin Mususi. And did I say that correct, Alvin?
Yes, Alvin Mususi. Yeah.
All right. And I just want to pull up Alvin's bio really quickly. Today, he's here with us to talk about architecting your future. And Alvin is, let me tell you a little about Alvin, okay? So he's going to talk to us today about how to leverage what you have now to build the future you desire, masterminding your mindset to take control of your career, and paying it forward. Alvin is a communications and management specialist in international development programs, providing durable solutions to some of the world's most vulnerable populations, ethnic minorities, and other marginalized groups who are often excluded and exploited. His passion is in helping change people's lives for the better. Over the past 5 years, Alvin has built up thought leadership and public policy processes geared to holistic interventions that create a strong opportunity for change. A member of the LGBTQ community, he is also an advocate for colorful workplaces that promote diversity and inclusion. All right, guys. So today, again, Alvin is going to talk about architecting your future. He is going to have a dedicated Q&A at the end of this session. So if you'd like, you can drop your questions as he's talking, and we will cover them at the end. Also stay on, because I have my 3 questions for Alvin, and I'm going to immediately turn it over to Alvin right now and stop my mic and video. Thank you for joining us, Alvin.
Thank you so much, Danette, and thank you to everyone who's joining us from across the globe, wherever you are. I want to say good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and I'm very grateful to CDPD for hosting me. It's evening here in Nairobi, so I'm coming to you live from Nairobi right now, and I just want to share my screen. So I think I will go straight onto that. Yes. I'm hoping you can see my screen. Danette, are you able to see my screen?
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, Alvin.
Okay, great. Thank you. So yes, as Danette has said, my name is Alvin Mususi Lugaye, and I'm passionate about helping people and helping people's lives change for the better. So I'm going to give you a little background about myself, just to add to what Danette has said. I have known Danette now, it's almost going to almost 5 years, but we've worked together for 3 years. So yeah, we worked when she was my manager, and I'm really excited to be here in this group which she has founded, and to connect with all of you and all the amazing work that CDPD is doing. So again, a little background about myself. The last 5 years, I've been working in international development, specifically in the field of refugee resettlement and protection. So I've served as a communications specialist responsible for my organization's full-scale communication strategy, as well as disseminating information to our global and internal stakeholders. And within the last 2 of those 5 years, I've been part of program management, overseeing compliance and stakeholder management, working in different field sites across 34 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. So again, this is how I met Danette. because she was my senior manager between 2016 and 2019. Previously, I've worked in community development with emphasis on protection of orphaned and vulnerable children. And that was for a period of 5 years between 2010 and 2015. And before that, my very first job was as a researcher and writer agent in business process outsourcing. So as Dinette has said, I am a proud member of the LGBTQ community, which is largely a minority and marginalized group, especially in my part of the world. And I hope that I am able to inspire individuals to own their true selves. And finally, I'm also an advocate for colorful workplaces, as mentioned, that promote diversity and inclusion, in the hope that I am able to curate safe spaces for people to be able to use their authentic voices. So that's just a little about myself. And yes, I want to welcome you to my presentation. I'm going to be talking about architecting your future, leveraging opportunities, and most importantly, embracing a growth mindset. Right. So today's agenda, we're going to look at how to be PIC, and we're going to define what PIC is in the next couple of slides. Then we will talk about embracing a growth mindset. Then we'll talk about bringing your best self, paying it forward, having a support system, and how you can start today. So PIC, basically this is persistence, insistence, and consistency, okay? So being persistent, being insistent, and being consistent. And the first time I had this terminology used in that way was when I was in high school, and my high school teacher, she came into the class, and she was our English teacher. And she was just giving us a brief welcome to joining high school. It was my first year and my first time joining. And so she was just talking to us and just encouraging us about, you know, the road ahead, and, you know, how it's going to be. And so she was telling us that in everything we need to do in life, we need to be persistent, we need to be insistent, and we need to be consistent. And there's a lot of things I learned in high school and I've forgotten, but these 3 words I never forgot. And I never forgot my English teacher because of giving me this phrase in those terms. So we're just going to define what persistence is. So being persistent is persistent itself is an adjective, which means continuing firmly in a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. Then being insistent, again, another adjective, is earnest or emphatic in maintaining or demanding something. And finally, consistent, another adjective, agreeing or accordant, compatible, and not self-contradictory. So in essence, when you combine all these 3 aspects in your life, persistence, insistence, and consistency, leads to growth, resilience, and confidence. And so today I'm just going to be talking about my own journey, how I have worked through my own situations to get myself to the place where I am, how I have grown in career, and just, you know, some things that I've learned along the way, experiences that I have been through, and what it has taken for me to get to where I am today. So it's not been because of education, it's not been because there's someone giving me opportunities outside of whatever was available, but most of it was because I was persistent, I was insistent, and I was consistent. No matter what was happening in my life, no matter the different struggles that I had to go through as an individual, as a 19-year-old, being responsible for a family and, being orphaned at that early age, there was not much hope that looked to be there in the future. But one thing that kept pushing me, and one thing that kept me going, was that remembering those 3 words that my English teacher had told me when I was 15 years old. And so they kept me going. They kept me flowing through life. Even when things were difficult, I just remembered all I needed to do was to be persistent. I needed to be insistent. I needed to be consistent in everything I was doing. So there's no way of achieving gains if you cannot take great risks. And risk taking is part of you being insistent, okay? So taking a risk to achieve a goal requires for you to have courage to face the fear of uncertainty. So putting yourself out there, basically. So no matter the outcome, either way, we grow through the process and become more resilient and confident. So even if you fail, failure is not really truly failure. It is just another way of learning that something can be done in a better way. So better yet, building skills helps in taking more risks and improves your chances of achieving your future goals, right? So putting yourself out there is something that very many people are scared of. Um, um, even being asked to come onto a forum like this and to speak. There's been so many speakers who have come before me and done amazing jobs. And thinking to myself, okay, what am I going to offer CDPD? But there's something that I have that I can share with the members of CDPD, as well as people across the globe. And it could touch someone's life. It could make a difference in someone's life. Something I might say today might change someone. A lot of things that we assume that people know, or that, we take for granted that, oh yeah, well, I don't need to say these things, I don't need to write this article. I don't need to, talk to people about this and that, because people know these things. But the truth is, people may not necessarily know these things. And sometimes people need to be reminded. People need to hear stories. People need to hear about people's journeys, how we got here, how I worked from basically, what I used to call a glorified office boy. That's what I used to call my job at some point when I was beginning, just a gob. In short, that's what I used to call myself. And how I've worked all the way and gotten myself to the place where I am. So maybe it can be an inspiration to someone that you do not have to have anyone, pushing you behind. You do not have to come from a certain background. You do not have to have money. It is not necessarily the education that you have. Education is excellent, it's important, but it's not everything, right? So yes, I want us to remember persistence, insistence, and consistency. That's the only way for you to grow, for you to become resilient and steady, and for you to gain confidence. So inaction basically will lead you nowhere. Being comfortable will limit your chances to grow. And you need to overcome your fear, as I mentioned. Do you hesitate to go after what you want because you're afraid it will leave you vulnerable, a failure, and exposed to hurt, disappointment, and even ridicule? These are some of the things that people face. They say, I don't want to, fail. I don't want to be exposed to hurt. I don't want people to see me failing, But if you don't take the chance, if you continue sitting back and letting fear take you and letting fear overcome you, then definitely you're not going to take any risk, and there's not going to be any trajectory in your life. So you're just going to be in a comfort zone, and comfort zones don't get us anywhere. As it says on the slide, inaction leads nowhere. Right. And then the second point that we're going to talk about is embracing a growth mindset. So when I'm talking about embracing a growth mindset, I'm basically talking about personal development, learning as you go. As I said, not everyone has the opportunity to have higher education or, go to university. If you have, well and good, this is excellent. If you have a master's, if you have a PhD, excellent, this is great for you. But again, there's very many people who do not have these things. And even if you have a university degree, a college degree, even if you have a master's, personal development and growth is not something that you achieve once, but it is something that is life, is for the rest of your life. So how to learn new skills for a career change was an amazing presentation that was given by Nicole Merrill, who was the presenter who just came before me. And if you have not seen that presentation, I will really urge you to go and look at it, because she took us through the reality of embracing hybrid skills and lifelong learning. And she accurately described the importance of embracing a growth mindset. So constantly learning and picking up new skills as you progress in your career is basically what personal development is. Learning on the go. You do not need to necessarily go through an expensive education or formal schooling in order to make an achievement in any field. Personally, I am working in the humanitarian industry. I did not learn anywhere about being a humanitarian. I did not go through, schooling to learn that, but I have gained job experience. I started from a lower position and slowly through the years worked my way to program management where I'm in now. So I keep on insisting that experience is your best teacher. Every time, experience is your best teacher. So what can you do if you want to start a personal development plan today, right? So first of all, you have to start where you are. It can be intimidating, taking control of your own development. Many people are afraid of it. However, there are some easy ways, as you can see here, about organizing your personal development plan. So be grateful by focusing on starting with what you have. So recognizing your worth and focusing on what you already have, because you put an enormous effort into getting to where you are. So also think about the people, who benefit from what you do. And if you improve yourself, if you develop yourself, those benefits are going to increase also for those people. Then the next thing you can do is for you to take baby steps. Make a plan by breaking a large goal into small components. Sometimes if you look at something as a whole, it can be very intimidating. But if you just pick and take small bite-sized pieces, even when you're working, like when you do a project and you just take small bite-sized pieces, it is going to make it more palatable. It's going to make it, easier for you to break down the task, put together the development plan, and have a result in the end. And another important aspect is for you to embrace change, know where you are going and what you are setting out to accomplish. So our world is constantly changing all the time. Even if you and I do nothing, the world will still change. The world will still go round, and the sun will set and the sun will rise. So embracing change is very important. Change is not easy, but learning that going with the flow is one of the best things that you can do for yourself, is amazing. So think about it. If people and ideas didn't change, we would probably right now still be living in the caves. So embracing change is really important. Another very important thing is for you to learn from others. I say this all the time, that experience is a harsh teacher, and you don't want to go through experiences for you to learn necessarily things. If someone has already gone through something and you have been able to be there to see what they have gone through. It's so much easier to learn from that. You don't have to, again, walk the same line and go through, maybe the difficulty that they went through or the challenges that they faced to get to where they are. Learn from people who have already gone through certain experiences, right? So if you can find a mentor or if you can find a coach, then this will definitely make your task easier, because then this is somebody who can guide you and who can offer you support as you move on. Also, learning from others, read as much as you can. Keep yourself updated on industry news, for example, read articles. LinkedIn, for example, is a great resource and for you to find some great links inside there, resources, professionals who are holding classes and things like that. Also, in the last presentation that was here that I said with Nicole Merrill, she mentioned some great suggestions for places where you can go and, find amazing resources like Coursera, places like edX, and these places and resources are free of charge. You don't necessarily need to pay for them, right? In East Africa, for example, we have access to community leadership centers like YALI, which is the Young Leaders Initiative Network. And this offers virtual resources and courses in leadership absolutely for free. And you're able to also get a certificate of completion once you've done. So these are just practical steps that you can take yourself to learn, right? Not necessarily expensive ways for you to gain skills and knowledge, but just resources that are available online. So also you need to keep going and never give up. Life works in circles and moves to a rhythm. You will have ups and you will have downs. When you hit a slow point or things don't seem to be moving, don't give up. The most important message again is to be persistent, insistent, and consistent for you to keep moving. So there's no such thing as a continued rapid advancement. And so a personal development plan has to be balanced and it has to be achievable. So again, the second point about taking baby steps is really important. Don't feel like you need to rush through it. Don't feel like you need to achieve things quickly. Let it be balanced. Go step by step. Give yourself time. Give yourself a break when you need to take a break. But then don't forget, to keep going back and to keep the momentum going. Because the worst thing to do is to lose momentum. Once you lose momentum, then getting it back is really difficult. So keep the momentum going, embrace change, take it with the flow, learn from others. If you can find a mentor, if you can find a coach, absolutely amazing. I remember when Dinette was my senior manager, I approached her and I set up a calendar. I went through her calendar. I saw that she had some time. I requested her if I could see her because I wanted for her to be a coach and a mentor. I just loved the way she had come at the time into our organization and some of the changes that had been implemented. And we were going through a difficult time. And so when she came in as one of our senior managers, there was so much change and transformation. And so I identified her. And even though, to be honest, some people were were scared of Didet. Not that Didet is someone scary, but people were just, scared they would maybe meet her in the lift and
Yes, they were, huh? Let me mute
Didet,
myself.
I'm not trying to say people were scared of you, but I was confident just to approach you. It didn't matter because you were the regional deputy director. I was just like, I see someone who can help me and I see someone who can, build my career. And I just said, hey, Dinette, can I please have some time? I would like to see you and talk about a few things. And it was so amazing because you were so instrumental in helping me figure out what I wanted. And I remember At that point is when I moved from a program specialist to a communications specialist. And it was all because I was able to sit with you and we analyzed what my career projection was, and you helped me through it. So definitely having a mentor and a coach is important. Don't be afraid of people. Don't be afraid of approaching someone and asking. The worst thing that can happen is someone says no. And that is not written on your face that, you know, Alvin said no. And if someone says no, then really that's a loss to them. You keep going, you keep being persistent, you keep being consistent, and definitely you're going to achieve what you want. Okay, now we're going to look at always bringing your best self. And this is really, really important. And this is something I preach all the time. So what works best when you're bringing your best self? I always say bringing a bazooka to a knife fight. That's what works best. Don't come to play. When you go for something, go for it. If you want something, go for it. If you're going to an interview, make sure you look the part. Make sure you have prepared yourself accordingly. Make sure you know about the company. Make sure you have done your research. Make sure you have read annual reports from the company. Be prepared. There's so many people out here who are talented. So what else are you bringing that's different from someone else? Bring a bazooka to a knife fight. That is always my plan. I don't come, you know, to play around. I know what I want, and I'm going to give you my best. I don't want to have any regrets at the end of anything that I'm doing. So I will do it to my utmost best. So here are some things that I picked up along the way as I have been working, as I have been, you know, employed, as I have gone through life, and especially in my career. Number one, networking internally at your job is absolutely something we all need to be doing. I don't know if people understand that networking is not only external networking, which is the second point that we look at, but even in your job, you need to network internally. And this is by making and taking the extra effort. Like I said, I reached out to Dinette, who was at that time my senior manager, very senior manager. And that was part of networking because I knew that there's going to be opportunities that are going to be coming up. And definitely, if I reach out, then I'm going to be out there. And even when considerations are being made, like you are already known, people know your work because you do a great job, you're willing to get involved, you know, so you're always bringing your best self. I'm not talking about schmoozing, you know, or, you know, trying to wheel your way around. I'm talking about doing a great job consistently and being involved, taking the extra effort, right? And when you put in the extra effort, you will definitely be noticed. And that already is a way of networking internally. Take up special projects if you have to take them within your department. Take up coordinate, liaise with other departments, you know, where you're working. Have cross-functional skills. Be able to know what is someone in a different department doing. Can you take some volunteering projects that you can work with if it is in IT? Can you learn some things, you know, if HR has an opening? Just try as much as possible for you to have cross-functional knowledge in anything that, in any organization that you're working in. And then again, so if the manager in another department that you volunteered for, or you took up some special project or task that they were having, then they get to know you. And so in that way, if you did a great job, if you put in the effort, and if you were willing to get involved, they already know you. They already know, I've worked previously with Alvin. So now there's an opening in this position. Why not? He's definitely a candidate to consider, because that's how I literally came about my position as a communication specialist, because of an article I had written when I was on a mission. And then I was approached and asked if I could write the company newsletter. And I said, yes, I could do it. And just from that, I was able to leverage that opportunity to get to my job as a communications specialist. Okay, and then our next point is networking externally, which I think most of us know is really important. So here I've talked about boss hunting, and I'm going to explain a little bit of what boss hunting is. And so finding the hiring manager on a company website. You are putting an application, right? You have seen a job that you want. You've said, okay, this is something that looks interesting to me and that I would like to get into. So you put in your application and you send it into the tracking system. But then what else are you going to do? Boss hunt. Find the hiring manager on the company website. Again, as I said, go onto the company website, read who is the person that the job description says that you will be reporting to. You can get them on LinkedIn. If you find their name on the company website, find them on LinkedIn, search for them, and send out what they call a cold email and just let them know. Hello, I have applied, I'm interested in this position, which I have applied for in your company, and I would really like to be interested, and this and that is what I bring to, I will be able to bring to your company. These are my skills. This is, what I can offer you. And so that puts you in a better position, than just what I'm going to talk about in point number 3, the applicant tracking system, which is basically an abyss, where a lot of us just send resumes and send our CVs, send our motivation letters, send our cover letters, and they just go into these applicant tracking systems to die. And I'm sure so many of us have sent out applications and, you never receive responses, or you just get, these automatically generated responses. And so if you are not, out there, putting yourself out there, boss hunting, sending out cold emails, networking, trying to get someone from the company that you're applying to. Maybe they're your first degree connection. If they're not, this is on LinkedIn I'm talking about. Maybe they are a second degree connection, which means they know somebody whom you know on LinkedIn. Reach out to that person to introduce the two of you and find out about the company, find out what it is that they're looking for, who is the person who is hiring, all these things play into you standing out and you not just, being in this abyss with hundreds and sometimes hundreds of, applicants, sending in their applications. So there's, on YouTube, there's this amazing career coach. He's called Andrew Lasivita. You can look him up, and he gives some amazing talks and videos that he has posted on networking externally, how to use LinkedIn, just to get you out there. So definitely that's something for you, for any of us to look at. I would encourage you to look at his videos. So for your resume, point number 3, definitely get it out there. Get it done. Don't procrastinate. It doesn't have to be perfect. What you need to do is get it out there and get it done. Update it regularly, tweak it. Do not use generic words, you need to use keywords. Look at the job description. What are they asking for? What are they looking for? What are the skill set that they want in the job description? And then tailor your resume, your CV to talk or rather to sell you in the manner that the job description is talking. Because the job description says a lot about what they're looking for. It's not just something that is just there that employers are just putting out. Go through the job description with a fine comb, and then put out your top skills that fit the job description. So that means from time to time, you'll need to update your resume. I know Sometimes that's a real big task for people, and we just send out the same CV, same resume for all kinds of jobs that we're applying for, but then that doesn't work. We need to tailor our resumes and our CVs to show the best skills or the top skills as reflected in the job description. So another very important thing is to replace your duties with accomplishments. You'll find CVs sent out because in my position, I'm also a hiring manager, and we also receive, I see these CVs when we are doing interviews, and so many people just copy and paste basically just what their job description at the place or previously was, and they just paste it onto their resume. And then that doesn't say anything about you. It doesn't say what you're bringing. It doesn't say the skills that you have. It doesn't say the things that you've helped the organization achieve. It doesn't give me any outlook about yourself. So instead of you pasting your duties, paste the accomplishments that you have done while you were doing the duties. You can have a bullet of, maybe some of your job description, but let the majority of whatever it is that you're writing and putting on your CV be the accomplishments, okay? And with the statistics that you have achieved in those accomplishments. So what do you bring and not what you're looking for? Again, most people will write, I am looking for a company where I will be fulfilled in blah, 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 and where I can grow in this experience. I mean, this is good for you that this is what you're looking for, but what are you offering the company? They are looking to hire someone. They're not looking for someone who is looking for something in them. The company wants to find someone who's going to be an asset to them, okay? The company, the organization, your employer wants an asset to them. So it's not about you. That will come later. What you want now is to get your foot into the door, and you need to show the company or the organization that you are applying to what it is that you're bringing to the table. And then another thing is for you to brand yourself. Branding is very important. And when we talk about branding, people think about, oh, it's selling yourself and all those things. But branding is way more than just, trying to sell yourself. It's creating value around what you want to be known for, okay? For example, when you're known to be orderly, you're known to be organized, and you're known to be credible, that's a brand, If people are walking around and they know that, Jane is, an organized person. She's orderly. If you give her work, she's delivers on time. If she's facing an issue, with time crunch, she will let me know in advance as her manager or the person who she's reporting to, and then we can work out a plan on how we are going to go forward with the project or with the task. That is a brand, I will be more inclined, to reach out to Jane to give them, specific tasks because I know that they can deliver. And this is unfortunately sometimes how managers work, because sometimes you are on pressure, you're on time crunch, and you need to get the job done, and the person who can do the job. And so that person will be getting more opportunities, to do different tasks. And so brand yourself. Like I said, put in the extra effort, do a great job, and be willing to get involved. Let people know you for your organization. Let people know you for your time management. Let people know you for, being the person that is able to deliver. And if I go back to the third point, I'm remembering that Lisa Miller, I think Lisa Louise Miller, yes, she gave some incredible insight and statistics around applicant tracking systems. So again, that's another video on CDPD YouTube side or Facebook that you can go and look into. And basically she was talking about, it's about you have like a chance out of 100 applications that you give, you probably have something like 3 chances out of 100 submissions that you have made to an applicant system of applicant tracking system of you being picked. So those are very slim odds. Like, so you want to put in the extra effort. Like I was saying, you want to boss hunt, you want to send out cold emails, you want to reach out to your network, you want to do what you need to do for you to be out there. Right. Point number 4, we're going to talk about paying it forward. So many people, and most of us, want to be a part of something that does good in the world and makes a real difference in people's lives. At least I know I want to, and that is what made me get into the international development humanitarian sector. And that is what, again, drew me to the nonprofits arena. I always feel a lot better when I give instead of receiving. And I feel a deep desire to pay things forward as my personal philosophical basis. So there's always the saying that, you know, it's better to give than to receive. And through my journey, I have found that this is very true. I was talking with my best friend recently, and I told her I'm so glad that at this point where I am, I feel like I am able to give more than what I am receiving. And it feels really fulfilling, you know, to be at a place where you're feeling you're impacting and making a change. No matter how small, it's still a change and you're still giving it. So make the world a better place. For example, the mission of CDPD, the group in itself is a pay it forward concept, providing mentoring, coaching, and resources, you know, to marginalized people. So, for example, by volunteering to help a manager or a supervisor, now I'm just talking about how you can pay it forward at your own workplace. So if you volunteer to help your manager, supervisor from another department, like I was saying with a project, you might, you know, stay in the back of their mind for when another opportunity comes. All of us should constantly provide acts of kindness and share time, talent, and experiences with others. It doesn't take away from you when you share, and it doesn't take away from you when you take what you have learned and the things that have helped you grow, and you mentor and you coach someone so that they can be better at what they are doing. I think that's one of the greatest gifts. And if more people were willing to do that, then we would, you know, have amazing people out here. We would have stars. But if you keep what you know to yourself, thinking that, you know, you don't want competition, or you're afraid someone will come and surpass you, or, you know, at the workplace, you know, you want to be the one to excel, actually you will find that you are missing out on key skills that you could have been building in leadership, and especially in servant leadership. So doing good also has its own health benefits, including reducing stress and depression, as well as improving your self-esteem. So paying it forward can enhance your personal life as well as your professional life. So I encourage you today to start looking for ways to pay it forward, to start looking for small ways in which you can make a difference in someone's life, whether it is in your career, whether it is in your personal life, whether, you know, it is professionally or otherwise, through volunteering, through, you know, mentoring or coaching someone, through, you know, sessions where you can talk to people and, you know, just help them out with resolving situations that you are good at. Find a way in which you can make the world a better place. That's why we are all here at CDPD, because had it not been for this opportunity, then we would not have all these amazing people telling us how we are able to grow and how we are able to leverage ourselves and how we can, you know, maneuver through some of these things which can be, you know, you can think are very technical and so difficult. But because we have this platform, then we are able to pay it forward, we're able to learn from people, and then we're able to make ourselves better. So I encourage you, pay it forward. Then something else that's really important, and I have found to be really important as you move through life, is having a support system. So a support system is made up of individual people who provide support, respect, and care. These are people who are in your corner. They do not judge you or ridicule you. They provide feedback that is genuine and in your best interest. And most importantly, their support is not self-serving. So one of the, like I'm saying, the most important things I've found is that I have a support system of very wonderful people around me who are able to carry me through a lot of things that I go through, and a lot of questions I have. They're able to stand by me. They're able to give me feedback, and feedback does not mean that it always has to be something that you want to hear. It can also be feedback that is to help you fix something. And so these people are people who are genuine and not self-serving. And I find that sometimes a lot of us think that our support system is our family, or maybe some friends that we've been having for a long time. But even your family, or even friends that you've had for a long time, they can be setting you back. So when you're looking for a support system, you need to find people who are not self-serving. If you're finding that it is your family, or people around you, close to you, who are holding you back, then you will have to leave those people behind. Because if you want to move forward, if you want to achieve what you need to achieve, and if you want to architect and make your own life, then you cannot bring these people with you. Some things need to be left behind, and it's okay. Not everyone has to like you. At the same time, not everyone has to hate you. So it's okay if someone feels like you are no longer being a part of their life, and you have a genuine reason for you letting go of that person. It's okay, let them go, and find people who are able to support you to move to the next level. Having a strong support system has many benefits for your well-being, better coping mechanisms and skills, and a longer and healthier life. So these are people you trust, people who will cheer you on. And as I say, people who you trust doesn't necessarily mean that it's the people who are closest or around you. Sometimes those are the people who are actually not the best for you. And you need to really think about who is around you, and who are the people that you're bringing into your inner circle. So these are people whom you call. These are people you can call at 2 a.m. in the morning, and they will be there for you. These are people who anchor you, and people who will correct and point you in the right direction. So I have found that I have very close friends. They're few in number, but these are the people who have been able to propel and push me forward. They are people in my professional life, they're people in my personal life. And it's not a big circle, it's literally the same circle. But we have grown with each other through a lot of ups and downs. We have learned from each other. They have been there, and I have seen them changing themselves, okay? So also you see the change in these people. It's not that they are stagnant. It's not where we were 5 years ago. Today, as friends or as a support system, we're still at the same place. We are cheering each other on. We want to see each other do the best that we can do, right? So make sure your support system are people who are in your corner, and yet even when they are still in your corner, that there are people who can give you feedback and tell you, hey, Alvin, here, this is not the right way, or this is not looking good, and maybe you need to switch up tactics, right? So that's another point. And finally, I want you to start today. Like I said, everything is in baby steps. You do not need to rush. It does not need to all be done at one go. If you need to clean up, whether it is your networks, if you need to, go into LinkedIn and start the whole process, you can start today, and you can take baby steps. Experience means trying. If you don't try again, you can never have any experience. Then you need to develop a strategy. Start your personal development plan, as we talked, embrace a growth mindset, and put in actions to achieve what you desire. Get back on your feet. You cannot fall from the floor. So if you're on the floor at this moment, then the only place for you to go is up. So get back on your feet. Dust yourself, persistent, insistent, and consistent. No matter how many rejections you get, even if you apply to these applicant tracking systems, you put in what you need to put in, and you get rejections, that doesn't deter you. You keep going. I got emails full of rejections before I got the opportunity that I got to enter the humanitarian world 5 years ago. And many colleagues, even those who I was having at that time, were laughing and were like, oh, well, you're dreaming big, all these things that you want, like, you're dreaming big. So how many applications have you put in today? But I was insistent. I did not stop. It didn't stop me. Even if I get a rejection, I'm like, okay, good. I have learned another way of making my application better for the next time. So if you're already on the floor, that's the best place to start, because there's nowhere else for you to go except up. Make yourself a priority. You need to know when to leave that job. You need to know when to leave, again, that relationship. It could be, family, it could be a relationship, romantic or otherwise, friendship, or whatever it is, job, relationship, whatever it is that you need to break away from. Make yourself a priority. Knowing the time to leave is really important, because sometimes we stay holding on to things for too long because that's all we know. That's our comfort zone. That's all we have been, living with for a long time. But just because you've been living with this for a long time, or this is something that you have been with for a long time, doesn't mean that it's right, or it doesn't mean that it's the best thing for you. There is so much opportunity out there. All you have to do is put yourself out there, is take that risk, take that step today, try it. If you fail, that's fine. You've learned one way of not doing it, as I said before, and that just keeps increasing your knowledge. Then finally, choose to be happy and live life at your own pace. One of the most important things that I learned is not to compete with other people, or not to try to, run with the opportunities of other people. Life is different for everyone. The circumstances that got Alvin to where he is seated today are different circumstances from what is going to get, John to where he needs to be. Each one of us has their own path. And it's really important to acknowledge that, because if you're trying to go via someone else's script, you might find it very difficult, right? So create your own script. Learn, as I said, from other people's mistakes, experiences, successes as well, not just from their mistakes, also from their successes, and use that to make a plan for yourself. So live life at your own pace. Do not feel rushed to do something or to be somewhere because someone else is there. They got there by following a path. They got there by working towards it. Work your way through it. If today was to be my last day, I would be very proud of the place where I am. Definitely, I have aspirations. I have not gotten everything that I want to get. I'm still seeking bigger, better opportunities. I'm still seeking to make more difference in more people's life. I'm still wanting to do so much more with my life. But that doesn't negate the things that I have done that have gotten me this far. It doesn't negate my achievements so far. It doesn't negate where I have come from. It doesn't negate my journey. So thank yourself. Remember your achievements. Don't forget about your achievements. What you have done to get to the place where you are today, it's been tremendous. It's been an enormous effort. So don't forget those achievements just because you feel like what you have achieved, comparing it to someone else, is not enough. It is enough, okay? We are looking ahead for better things, but also acknowledge what you have. Be grateful, be thankful to yourself, give yourself a pat on the shoulder and say, yes, we have gotten somewhere, and from here, we can work to a better place. Again, as I said, experience means trying, get yourself out there, and we'll be able to do great things. Thank you. And that's the end of my presentation. I welcome
love
if
it.
any questions or comments, anything.
All right. So I have a few questions. Thank you, Alvin. You want to stop the screen share?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I loved it. And, of course, I'm proud of you because I've watched you grow over these years. And you are, again, the only person that I've worked with who has been brave enough to come on here. And I appreciate you for that. So I have some questions from YouTube. I only have one.
Thank you.
Right now in the group, and then I have a hand up. Let me make sure that hand up is for real. Who is that with their hand up? Cynthia Gotchi, is your hand really up? If so, I'll bring you on. If you really want, I'll bring you on and you can ask Alvin your question. So just let me know in the chat if you are really up. She put that hand down. Okay. Are you? No? Okay. I can't hear her. Hello?
I guess.
Okay, it didn't work. All right. Okay, I didn't hear anything. Can you hear me, Alvin? Oh, we're having some connectivity issues. Oh my goodness. Oh man. 1 minute, guys. I'm not sure why we're having.
Yes.
You can hear me? Are we back? All right, guys, give us a moment. We're having some little connection issue.
Yes. You're back.
Okay. You can hear me? Mm-mm.